The Civil Rights Movement was a very important part of American history.
Without this movement, we could not be together in this classroom.
Without civil rights, we would not be able to do a lot of the things that we do on a daily basis.
The Civil Rights Movement impacted all of our lives. Right now, we are going to focus on the people who drove and inspired this movement.
There are many people who impacted the Civil Rights Movement, like Jackie Robinson.
He is not necessarily someone you think of when the topic of civil rights comes up.
He has faced discrimination from everyone near and wide.
Jackie Robinson was the first African American brought to the Major League Baseball team by the Dodgers president and general manager Branch Rickey.
Branch Rickey wanted to end unwritten segregation rule in the majors.
He faced a lot of discrimination and cruelty from his own teammates at first.
Jackie Robinson broke down many barriers.
He later became the first famous African American baseball player in Major League Baseball.
Jackie Robinson paved the way for many other athletes.
He proved that talent is talent no matter what race you are. Next is one of our very own presidents, President Truman.
He was thought to be very racist, but proved that he could set his own beliefs aside for the good of the country.
President Truman desegregated the military in 1948.
It was a surprise to many that he did this. President Truman was known to tell racist jokes and oppose sit-ins.
He also called Dr. Martin Luther King a troublemaker. In the end, he surprised everyone.
Desegregating the military meant that we were fighting the world as one.
It meant we are one.
If they were good enough to fight together, they had to be good enough to be equal.
Thurgood Marshall was the attorney during the Brown versus Board of Education court case.
On May 17, 1954, it was announced that separate but equal was proven to be unconstitutional.
Without him, it would not be possible for all of us to be in school together now.
This court case made it illegal to have segregation in schools.
This court case was very important because it overturned Plessy versus Ferguson.
Rosa Parks kicked off the big civil rights movement that we learn about today.
She said she was tired of giving in. And that she really was.
Okay, one day Rosa Parks was riding the bus home like she always did.
While riding home, she was asked to move to make room for a white man.
Rosa Parks did not want to give up her seat because she was tired from a long day.
She was arrested on sight. This led to the beginning of the most famous part of the movement.
As a result of being arrested, she lost her job in Alabama, but moved to Detroit and found work.
After the bus boycott, segregation on public transportation is illegal.
This led to the beginning of the Montgomery bus boycott.
Martin Luther King Jr. joined the Montgomery bus boycott after he heard about Rosa Parks being arrested.
He is known for his famous "I Have a Dream" speech during the March on Washington.
He is also known for nonviolent civil disobedience.
Not only did he fight for rights, but also supported sanitation workers on strike in Memphis, Tennessee.
While he was giving his "I've Been to the Mountaintop" speech, he was assassinated.
When you think of civil rights, you've always thought of Martin Luther King Jr.
Now, we have a day where we celebrate him, and even streets are named after him.
Ella Baker was one of the most powerful civil rights activists.
She worked for many different organizations and fought for many different rights.
Ella Barker worked with the NAACP for many years in many different positions.
After she resigned at the NAACP, she began working in New York Urban League, Southern Christian Leadership Conference, and many other organizations.
Martin Luther King Jr. requested that she become the director of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference.
After she helped the Mississippi Democratic Party,
She worked with numerous organizations such as the NAACP, SCLC, NCC, and YNCL.
James L. Farmer Jr. organized the Freedom Rides.
The Freedom Rides were a trip through the South where whites sat in the back and African Americans sat in the front.
the Freedom Ride buses were bombed, and when people tried to get off, they were beaten badly and or killed.
James L. Farmer Jr. was also the founder of the Core Congress of Racial Equality.
He was awarded with a Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Bill Clinton.
James Meredith was the first African American to attend the University of Mississippi, or Ole Miss.
He was admitted to the university, but when they discovered his race, his admission was withdrawn.
Meredith took it to the state and they rejected it. Then the court took it to the Supreme Court and they ruled in his favor.
When he got to the school, he found that a riot and 500 marshals blocked it off.
President John F. Kennedy sent military police, U.S. troops, and officers from the Mississippi Border Control.
James Meredith faced a lot of discrimination trying to admit in school, even after integration.
Mariner Jackson was the first African American mayor of Atlanta, Georgia, and of any major southern state.
He was best known for his improving opportunities for African Americans in Atlanta.
Under his leadership, African American contractors increased to 35% from under 1%.
Jackson also changed the Atlanta Police Department from being known for treating blacks unfairly to being equal.
All of these people impacted the movement in many ways.
Some are more known than others, but they all had a very enormous impact on the civil rights movement.